The mountain was collapsing around them. There was no way out. After all their struggle, death seemed imminent and inevitable. Cleric fell to her knees. Clinging to faith, she prayed, despite never having heard a whisper from her gods since coming to this forsaken place. Vitar held his shield and axe defiantly, ready to give death a firm kick in the teeth. Steelor narrowly escaped a large piece of falling debris. He looked about in desperation as his mind raced, trying to devise an escape. But no lockpick or feat of agility could save them from this prison. He saw Cleric praying and urged her to stop and help him look for a way out. She was oblivious. Then, Steelor noticed the look on the face of his most unpredictable companion, the fire mage Psychofox. She stared intently at the wreckage of the Undying One. A mad grin began to creep across her face. Tightly gripping the orb of Xandor, she raised her arms. Steelor urged the others to gather around her. There was no telling what she was doing, but it couldn't be worse than being crushed by the collapsing ceiling. He practically had to drag Cleric as she was lost in her desperate, unanswered prayers. Psychofox's eyes grew wide and seemed to glow with infernal magic. Suddenly, the wreckage of their strange mechanical antagonist began to tremble with energy. Sparks flew from its innards and grew into coruscating bolts of electrical energy. Lightning shot out from the remains of the Undying One, towards the heroes. Focused by the Orb of Xandor and manipulated by the unfathomable depths of Psychofox's mind, it formed a shield around them. The air became turbulent and hot. They felt the tingling of electricity. Psychofox began to laugh madly as the power built. The mountain quaked like it had never done before. The light became blinding. There was a moment of searing pain, and then darkness. They awoke, cold, wet, dark. It was raining. The only light was the glow of the moon. They were outside, but where? Cleric sat up suddenly and began openly weeping. She stood up, drew back her hood, face up to the rain, and held her arms outstretched, once again hearing the voices of her gods. Psychofox was running around in the mud, giggling with glee, casting random magic into the sky with abandon. They were home, on the same path where they had been ambushed, but the Drow and their mercenaries were long gone. Vitar and Steelor stood up, muddy, beaten and exhausted, but free. With Psychofox frolicking in the rain, and Cleric still revelling in the presence of her gods, Steelor turned to Vitar and said, "Vitar, I know a great place where we can settle in for an evening by the fire." Let's get drunk. With that, the four heroes started down the path, back the way they'd come, toward Waterdeep.